What's up, dogs? It's your host, Mike Mason. We're here with Fireside Chat, new joint, episode 1. This show is going to be a lot of what you guys are used to. I want to take my documentation of our industry and bring something just a little bit more restrained. If you guys don't know who I am, I've been blowing glass since 2013. The student of Lauren Stump, Mattis Cookie, Roger Paramore, a ton of others that you're going to hear me reference, and you've probably heard me reference in the past. My work over the past few years has been documenting our industry, trade shows, social events, so much more. It's been an honor, and I want to share that with you guys, and that's kind of what we're going to do here, and I'll be happy to take your questions as we chat. We've got a great demo up ahead tonight with Salt. And then I'd like to take a moment to introduce my partner and someone really special to me. This is Carrie Strope. She comes to a lot of these events and films with me. She was with me at Glass Vegas during this show. Carrie, give him a little introduction if you'd like. Tell them about what you do with glass.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Carrie Strope. I started working in glass in 2005. I started actually in a hot shop at a junior college class and then found a fusing studio that was 5 minutes from my house. Started doing everything with glass to work with more, glass more. And then just in the last couple years, I started working at High Volume Oxygen in Lincoln, Nebraska, the Lincoln Hot Glass Studios there. And the biggest reason that I started working there was because then I had access to a torch working studio, which is kind of the least amount of experience I've had with glass is on the torch. And so I've been doing a little bit more of that in the last few years. But that's me in a nutshell. You guys will see me at events helping Mike film. We'll be at Champs in a couple of weeks and probably Melt and other stuffs. So,
All right.
Mike?
That's what's up. That's what's up. So yeah, guys, Carrie, she breaks her back filming at some of these shows. Like she's just like me with it. We really stay in the zone until the torch goes off, and yeah, I really appreciate that. Okay, so speaking of events, I wanted to pop this off and talk about some events that are coming up, some events that I think you guys should come out to or at least know about. And then we'll get into this demo. Okay, first of all, I want to announce that we're doing the Melt Away Hunger giveaway again this year. So, every $5 that you donate to Feeding America, until we stop this thing, I'll get the dates and everything aligned here in the near future. We're probably going to run it for about a month. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and drop whatever amount on Feeding America, they're an awesome organization. Every $5 is an entry into this, and we've done this a few years in a row now. And I'm excited to give away another ticket. And Melt is a magical experience. It's not a trade show. Trade shows are kind of about making money, and then we have fun afterwards. But Melt is there's nobody's got to worry about that. We're worried about how am I gonna fit in this collab with my homie, and how am I gonna find time to do the paddle boards in the skate park, and which demo do I want to see, that sort of thing. It's just an amazing time. We started just a little late. I'd hoped to have Kevin Beecher with us, who's one of the co-founders of that event. Wasn't in the cards. Technical difficulties as usual. It was like this classic joke about podcasts, about how they always start with an apology for issues or whatever. So yeah, we're not gonna escape that curse, but hopefully we're gonna be good from here on out. If you guys have noticed, I have a little different background here. I'm in Nebraska now, and everything's tight. This is great. I've got my Troutman Chris Hurley poster in the background. If you could see the other side, you'd see my Melt poster. Life's good. Everything is right. And then what were we talking about? Events. Yes, I wanted to share with you guys some things that were coming up. Since I mentioned Melt, I want to pop that up, and This is there's Cool Hand Sue's right there on the cover. Um, and guys, glass blowing summer camp in the Pocono Mountains, incredibly beautiful. This is what we're talking about, giving away a seat to somebody. All it takes is $5 to Feeding America. And just set that receipt aside. You'll need to email that over to me. And like I said, when I get the flyer up, that will have the exact email and all that. But I'm accepting entries as of today. Last year, Whitefire Glass, the homie Rob White won this thing. Gosh, it's just, man, it's been really good. Juan Knoll won that the year before, and then David Lewis won the year before. He double heady glass. He does really cool egg stuff. Anyways, this lineup is incredible. Most of these guys will be doing some form of demo, or you're just welcome to hang out at while they work and socialize and kind of absorb what they do. Most of them will do a demo, and then they don't mind if you come in and chat with them afterwards. It's really great. Salt is coming onto the lineup. It's one of the reasons I wanted Kevin to join us, and we would talk about Salt and how amazing he is, but it's all good. I'm fully capable of telling you guys how dope Salt is. So,
Yeah.
and how dope Melt is too. And I mean, I have a Melt tattoo if you guys are not all familiar, and I'll spare you the embarrassment, or maybe I won't. Let's do this. Here we go.
Give us those gams.
Boy, that's
yeah.
it. It's my Melt tattoo. Micro came out that first year and did a Millie class, and he did the Tanuki Mario. So that was one of the tattoos. So that's my Melt tattoo. That's how special I think Melt is. I think you guys get the idea. I've probably talked about that enough other times. There were some other events that I wanted to talk about. One of them, the other reason I was hoping Kevin was going to be with us, we're going to keep saying this and make him feel guilty. No, I'm just playing. This is the Appalachian Mountain Flame Off, and this is in Pennsylvania also, like right outside Morgantown, West Virginia, though, so just over the border. Awesome lineup, really awesome artists. Kevin's on there. If you look close enough, you just might see your boy.
Mike Mason glass.
Yeah, we're doing it. And then
them on a large format dragon this year.
Yeah, and they basically, guys, if you're not familiar with this event, it is a hybrid of a jam festival, and flame off. So. And the vibe is really more of like that jam camping festival, but there happens to be a ton of glass artists throwing down, making amazing pieces that everyone votes on at the end. It's a really great time with really great people. I'm sorry?
I wish I could join you guys. Look, it sounds amazing.
Yeah, Carrie's got to hold down the home fires or whatever, but then she's coming out with me too. And we'll just jump over to that. But guys, I can't encourage you to come out to this enough if you're free this weekend and, on the East Coast or whatever. It costs like pennies to get in. It's like 60 or 75 bucks at the door. It includes camping. Show up ready to get loose. You know what I'm saying? Champs is coming up. Booths are sold out. I don't have nothing to talk to you guys about but the games. These games look dope, and if you want to come out, it is not too late. We got 13, thanks to this countdown here, we got 13 days and 14 hours until that show. And yeah, it's, man, the shows are just great. Summer's an interesting time to be in Vegas, but they accommodate you. There's like giant fans that are like better than any ventilation a glass artist will ever have, like everywhere. It's awesome. It's like, that moment when the city has better ventilation than glass studio or whatever. But it's not too late to sign up for a lot of these categories. And the February games are the Masters, and those are for people who won at all these qualifying events throughout the year. So these have a bunch of smaller competitions, and some of them are almost randomized in that skill isn't like always the deciding factor. There'll be ones where you end up collaborating with other people, and I know if you just got started, this might not be the thing to jump into. It's certainly the thing to come out and observe. Champs is free to get into as an artist. You just need to register, and you'll need to show them some like proof that you're actually in the business or whatever, because you don't need jokers coming in. But in any event, there's all these different categories. They're all really cool, and if you go to Champ's website, which is listed in the description, everything's listed in the description. My Instagram, all that great stuff. And anyways, this will be going down. Me and Carrie will be filming, and this leads into the Masters. I was just filming out in Atlantic City, and I've got some really, really amazing stuff. I don't want to spoil too much, but gosh, some of the footage I shot out there of Windstar in particular is just, some of this some of the stuff I'm most proud of. Just like, wow, I really captured this process properly. Anyways, so that's enough about Champs. I don't want to talk too long on these. I really just want to bring you guys up to speed on a bunch of really cool events. Okay, the same weekend as the Appalachian Mountain Flame Off is the Great Canadian Glass Gathering. If you are on the West Coast in British Columbia, this is your spot. Marcel Braun's out there with the Starship. Yo, guys, huge shout out to Marcel and Jessica and everyone out at the Starship. I don't want to get too distracted here, but, my travels... I did Atlantic City Champs, then helped upgrade some cabins up at Melt, shot down to film Germ Show, and then came home for a couple of days, and then was right off to Oregon, did the DFO, and then after that, I shot down to cover the Starship After Party, and then kind of just stayed for like a couple of weeks. I was going to do the ASGS, but the schedule was just a little different than we expected, and there wasn't much for me to film. So I just kind of stayed in Oregon, and kicked it with these people and their beautiful property and helped put in gardens and did all sorts of stuff. There was a really fun stream that I did to the Facebook group. It was nice getting it to chill with some of you guys throughout that like 4-hour or whatever stream. Right. Yeah, but just besides the glass making, which, what they're doing is just the next level scale and vision. But man, it's just really sweet people, and just nice getting to live with them and get to know their lovely daughter and all of that shit. It's like oh, the Starship, but then it's just easy to look aside that like these are just real humans with really cool ideas trying to do something, and it was just nice to get to break bread with them for a bit. So yeah, like I said, shout out to Marcel and Jessica and everybody out there at the Starship who was kicking it. That was a beautiful time. But anyways, he'll be there with a whole bunch of great guys. Lewis Wilson, you just saw some footage of him. It really is just a treat to get to share so much of this. Era Glasswork, that's Matt Canta, the homie from years ago. It's nice to see some names that I recognize from this thing who kind of started.
We filmed on Gibson last year at Melt, right?
Gibson, yes. There's a really cool spring demo that I released. Like it was like on Christmas or New Year's. I released it just for kicks, Yeah. Like a little holiday treat for the homies. Yeah, he's amazing. Really cool cat. All these guys are really great. Jordank Boro is an old homie of mine. Somebody I've actually known even before I ever touched a torch. Believe it or not, even though he's from a whole different part of the world. A different life, a different time. Okay, and then there is another one I want to talk about. Pipe Classic is going to be after Melt, like about 10 days or something after Melt. And then, look at this lineup, homies. This is just, Mattis Cookie's one of my teachers. Laceface, another one of my teachers. Shaka took the Kiva Ford class with me. Dosh, man, Brian, really, he was there at the Starship and we had quite a few opportunities to get to kick it. What a sweet guy. What a humble dude. Freaking all these guys I've had the opportunity to cross paths with. And Crunk, I mean, gosh, that chip stack demo is still one that I throw on every now and then. It's just such a cool technique. Chris Hubbard. Y'all remember that picture from when we all flew out to Glass Vegas? This event that we're about to see a demo from. And it was me and Whitefire who flew out to help film demos and do his thing. And then across from us on the other side of the row was Chris Hubbard. And
Love the mugshot photos they got going on.
yeah, they got some good photos going here. This is an amazing flyer, yeah. And then Kai Beck is just the fucking homie. All these cats are super cool. And this event looks dope. This is one I really want to get up to. And this is in Burlington, Vermont, if you're not familiar. And then there's one other event that I want to bring everybody up to speed on. If just in case you're not familiar, guys. This is the FAM, the Functional Art Movement, and essentially Glass Roots used to be in Madison, Wisconsin or whatever, right? And they have moved to Asheville, so if you're on the East Coast, Glass Roots will be there in Asheville. I don't know much about them, but what I do know is that these homies have moved in to the exact time and space and everything, and like freaking friends, like all these parties that were associated with that event are going to keep going out here. In addition to a trade show, they've added a ton of cool stuff. Some of it's associated with the Melt homies. This is what I'm talking about, the Melt with the Fam, Combustion for a Cause. This is really cool. Well, this is too much. It's too much, baby. Go. I don't need the freaking entry form. But, guys, there's like incredible prizes, and if we were to head over to Instagram,
and they still got booths left, I think, too.
They do have booths. So if you are in the Midwest and
they got a built-in audience already with the Glassroots vacating that spot. So
yeah, exactly. It's like it's a new show. But it's
all the Midwest buyers, yeah.
Yeah, it's stepping into an established spot, and I mean, it's a good guy move, you know what I mean? Because otherwise, this area of the country would have been left without a show, and now they're getting a show, but they're also getting an incredible flame off with like all these amazing prizes. Here's the lineup for the flame off. Some guys that y'all know, some guys that maybe you don't. I mean, Josh Mazet. Kevin Beecher, I hear that he's not very good with computers.
Kevin Beecher
guy? Yeah. Much love to Kevin. I wish he would have been here.
I know.
There was a lot of reasons I wanted him on this show tonight. You know, like just everything we're doing here lines up. He was with me at Glass Vegas. He's going to be with me at AMFO. You know, he's part of this thing I want to talk about. He's part of so many events I want to talk about because Melt is sponsoring this thing along with FAM. So it's all in the FAM. And this is the dope lineup. Awesome prizes, man. First place Samurai Torch. Got the Bethlehem hand torch in there. $300 and this. $200 to these cats. Kabuki for second place. Same hand torches to smaller gift certificates. A Mirage for third place.
Jersey Diamond Wheels.
Yeah, and then I think all the pieces, the proceeds go to the Dane County Humane Association. So we're out here saving dogs and shit. It's dope. Anyways, yeah. So this is a fun show as it looks to be. I'm definitely going to be there. And if you're in the Midwest or want to come out for this thing, here we go. See, this is like freaking party. And so now this is all of it's just the new version of an old thing, and you know, like the vibes were supposedly really good at that show, and I'm looking forward to this one. So, yeah,
I think you'll like it. Yeah, you're gonna like Madison.
August 17th through 19th in Madison, and that's FAM. And I think is that really it? Was that all I wanted to?
I think that is. I think that was your list.
Melt's pretty cool, you guys. I don't know if I mentioned Melt. But no, just kidding. All right. Okay. Let's see. And then you guys, I gotta lure y'all in with this stuff to stay to the end. But yo, check it out. We got some really cool stuff here. These are pins from the Corning Library, and we're gonna give these away with some really cool postcards. This one's like these glass eyes.
Eric really Goldsmith's been working on a lot of those
lately. Yep. And then this one's like this old diagram of like a classic flame working bench. It's crazy. Got that the more eyes, and then we got like some old person doing their thing, you know. They're like
Old person,
yeah,
old timey person,
yep. He's
like
saving up for a
literally lamp working.
yeah,
Looks
yeah.
like.
He's saving up for a triple wick GTT. I'm saying a boom, and then because we're headed out to Vegas and we're showing a show from Glass Vegas. With each of these, I'm going to be giving away the cards from the South Point where another event was at, but it don't matter. It's all in the fam. Got that Glass Vegas poker chip.
What?
So I got a few of those with each person gets a pin. We got some dice. And then I set aside some Millie for anybody who sticks around here. So we'll give away Millie with those as well.
Now don't start throwing those numbers out yet.
No. That's not till later.
Not time for that.
All right. And then there's one more thing I want to bring you guys up to speed on. It's only slightly self-serving, but this is in another way a preview of what's coming up over the next, I don't know, year or two. This content. So if you guys are not familiar, what I've been doing this year, basically since January, is called Torch Pass. And a lot of the content that I film now goes to Torch Pass, and it'll stay there for at least 6 months, is what I've kind of come to this conclusion about. So, I want to take care of the people who are able to help me get to all of these shows and film this stuff like you're about to see. This is how I'm trying to do it. This is $5 and immediately unlocks everything that you're about to see, everything you're seeing now. So anyways, I wanted to take a second to bring you guys up to speed on what's been posted here. It's like 4 things a month that drop. And I just wanted to take a second to bring you up to speed. If you don't have $5 a month, it's all good, baby. Everything that I film, is for the public. But I want to do something for those who can help me, because getting to, we're doing literally granular coverage of the industry. It's just one show to the next. I'm not trying to, beg for money here or anything, but the frequency of events is such that I cannot get on the torch and work as much as I would like to. And that's become one of the biggest things, even beyond, getting sustainable on the travel expenses. So, no big deal if you can't, but if you can, there is a tremendous amount of stuff now. And I just wanted to take a few minutes to show y'all what's there. Here's one. These homies have been enjoying the demo we're going to see tonight since May. I knew we were going to use that sooner, so it wasn't Torch Pass. It was just early access. But there's Mickelson's Hollow Hand demo from the Gas Conference. Incredible. And, I'm not trying to sell anybody's content. I just want to reward the folks who can pitch in a little bit to help me keep this going. We're coming up at about 100 supporters on Patreon now, and I really appreciate all of you. If we can get this thing to 200 and 300, there's so much more that can be done. We can start paying artists to do specific things, to turn some of this content more into something comprehensive, to maybe even put on our own events. Why not bring out the demos that we want to see? There's so much more that can be done, and I just wanted to take a second to bring you guys up to speed, though. And like I said, all of this stuff will go public in time. Next week, this incredible electroforming demo from Melt last year, Tim Kaiser's did. He's expert level with this, and he dropped an absurd amount of knowledge. This is like the Bible if you're into electroforming. So that's next Tuesday, because I'll be out traveling. So we're going to do a premiere thing next week, but Fireside Chat is kind of the new format, and I'll be having friends join me to narrate a lot of these demos. Here's Rhino making a duck rig. All of this, like I said, you unlock it for the same $5. And if you would do me the honor of, supporting my work, it means that I can keep doing this and keep doing it well. So yeah, gosh, so much cool stuff. We're just getting now into to January, where I started doing it like this. There's been stuff posted continuously beyond that for a couple of years now, but Torch Pass is really my way of doing my best to to do something for the people who can support me, and all, but not take anything away from the events or the public. So it's my way to try and do right by everyone. I hope you guys think that makes sense. Here's that electroforming demo that I mentioned. Like I said, we'll run this next Tuesday. Absolutely shocking knowledge drop. But that's been there since January for the homies. And I've not wanted to make a big deal about it. It's hard for me to ask. I'm not that type of dude. But at the end of the day, I think this is really, really fair for everyone involved. And it would mean a lot if you guys would consider supporting that. And then the other way, guys, that I'm able to do the things that I'm able to do are with the sponsors that you're about to see. So I'd like to just take a moment to thank these companies and organizations. The Flow is come on, awesome magazine. You can actually get that in print and still super high quality. FAM we just talked about, GTT, you guys have seen that in all my demos. Mountain Glass Arts is now coming at you from both coasts. Glass Vegas we're about to see tonight. Awesome show. High volume. You know the deal. It's done all my demos. And Lampwork Supply is where I get all my color. Amir, the owner, is a really great guy. Bethlehem, that's what I started on. Great torches. Champs, we've been talking about earlier as well. And North Star, God, I can't wait to talk to you guys more about the DFO. It's just great company, magical event. Dopels and Griffin, the homies, pitching into. And all these cats, and then you homies on Torch Pass, nearly like 100 of y'all are pitching in, and it really makes a difference. It means that when that money comes in, I buy the tickets for the events ahead of time. Being able to buy more stuff. Oh gosh, we're on the wrong thing here. Sorry. But those were the same sponsors. Let me be clear. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, technical difficulties. Yeah. That was crazy. Yeah, we're not doing that. Well, we'll just restart that. Sorry,
Mike,
Devs.
there was a question about the Torch Pass. The videos are exclusive to Torch Pass?
For 6 months.
That's right.
After 6 months, I'm free to release them. It doesn't mean they'll come out after 6 months, but they might. So yeah, like for example, the Tim Kaiser's one that we're going to run next week. That's going to be right after it's been on there for 6 months, so that, it becomes available. There's not going to be time to run them all immediately, but it's essentially going to be such that they'll come out after that point. So yeah, they're exclusive for 6 months. Like I said, I'm doing my best to find an arrangement that's fair for everyone involved, for the people who can support me, for the public that makes it possible to do this by watching. It's okay if you don't have $5. It's all good. I love you for being part of this party and this community and sending them positivity, that's made it good for me all these years. So let me be clear. It's not about your $5, but I also want your $5. So and let's scroll back here and actually get this party started. So yeah, these are the companies that have made it possible to do all of this. Anyways, guys, here's Salt, the homie. Really, really nice guy to hang out with, and just as incredible to watch work. And guys, check this technique out here. As you can see, what he is doing is taking these gun mounts, which are the little bars of color you can find in old TVs, and if you're smart like Salt, you found a big box of them that never even went to a TV, which I think is the deal. So he stuck a bunch of them around this flared blow tube, and now he's gonna kind of cook them together, almost like you would do kind of a stick stack. And there's some websites that actually just sell straight gun mounts. I think that's kind of cool. They must have got a hold of some of those boxes as well. So yeah, get them before Salt does.
It took me the longest time to figure out what people were talking about when they said gun mounts.
Right.
Seriously. I was like, my dad, he needs to know about this.
Yeah. So yeah, like I say, tacked them at the bottom and now tacking them at the top. Using that I think that's like a blast shield or a Griffin like graphite carving knife. You can learn a lot just by watching what tools these guys use. All right, and check that out. Really slick move right here. Got that nice dank heat, you might say, in the middle there. Yeah, we're a little rough around the edges tonight. It's been like, what, how long has it been since we've done a show even remotely like this? So,
I
yeah,
know the
sorry
last
for
time
the
we've spoken on camera, yeah.
slightly technical issues and such. But we're back in the zone, baby. Look at this thing. So he's got one section relatively sealed up. You know, obviously it's not like fully cooked in or nothing, but it's enough that it's going to, I think, be airtight and, you know, live to see the end of him tacking more on. And here he is just kind of filling out that same pattern. And in the background there is Jess from Carlisle. He's the homie. He sets up the torches at a number of events. Really cool cat. And then also painting was Coil. Really cool cat as well. Coil, fun fact, took the Lauren Stump class with me years ago. So it really was a great time. I talked about this a lot over the years, but it's worth reminiscing about. A great class. Bunch of great dudes in there. And Coyle really is an exceptional talent. Flame working and, you know, does really cool art too. But on the torch, good God. And then Salt gave me a big old bundle of that color after his demo was done. He's like, I don't want this. Can't get out of here with this.
That's right.
And I was like, what color is it? He's like, I don't know. I just asked Borobatch for the cheapest thing they had. Further confirming my theory that ballers use colored punnies. So, it's... I think he didn't have punnies, so we just bought the cheapest color he could find. These are the things you do when you're Salt. The only more baller move I've seen since was Andrew Pollack when he did the when he was making that octopus demo with some punny that had a fish sculpture on it. I was like, damn, dude. That was a pretty baller move too. Speaking of baller, how about that shirt? Bob Ross representing.
Right? That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was a sweet shirt. And that torch right there is a Black Widow. This isn't torch talk, but we're going to talk about a torch. It's it's apparently like a souped up CC, as I understand it.
Yeah, it's not the Salt. It's not the torch that Salt used to work or is used to working on, but Carlisle brought that one for Las Vegas, and Bethlehem Laces over at the other station right now, using the Sharp Flame Champion.
Yep.
Bethlehem.
Yeah, that's Lacey in the background. Another one of my teachers. You know, and out at the Starship, I got to give a shout out to her and to Scuba, her husband. Really super nice guy. Really pleasure getting to kick it with him, and you know, he told me when I mentioned that, I was like, yeah, I do. I know your wife well. You know, not well, like, but I mean, I know exactly who she is, so to speak, because she's one of my teachers. He was like, really? Which class did you take? And I told him, and he was like, damn, dude, you're lucky. She's only taught like twice or something. And I thought
wow.
that, yeah, he told me she's barely ever done classes like that. So I didn't realize how lucky I was. I mean, I think I'm the luckiest motherfucker alive, but on that one, I didn't calculate the luck factor properly. So, you know, gosh, you know, when somebody you respect is teaching that class, man, in my opinion, hit the road. Hit the road with your jacks. And All right. Anyways, I'm not gonna keep going with that, but
Make a good song.
Don't you come back till you learn
Yes.
some more. Okay.
Knew it.
I couldn't resist. I had to. Okay. But for real, let me reel this in. My point here is that, if you see a class that you like, man, don't sleep on that shit. Get on a bus, do whatever you got to do. So, anyways, I guess we'll talk glass. He's doing his thing. He's condensed this back and essentially turning it into a more normal piece of tubing that has a round and even wall and such by condensing it and all that. So now it's went from that long section into like a shorter, nice, properly even section. But he's not done yet though. He's gonna do a whole nother layer with these gun mounts, and the method is he basically spirals it on around this blank, and actually at melt back in like 2016, he taught us this method, and what he told me at that time, or what he told all of us at Melt, because it was like a class, he said that because he goes around it and spirals the color on, that he spoke about it in the terms of glass having a memory for the stress that you put into it, and when you coil pot or this or that, it's going to have these like stress lines that go through it. It's going to remember that the glass was in this orientation once, in theory. And by coiling it around the way that you're going to see him do, he mentioned that the stress pattern is something more like a chain link fence. It becomes self-reinforcing as opposed to, having these stress lines that can really run through. And I might not be doing the best job of paraphrasing that. Salt's a pretty fucking smart guy. He's like in my top 5 glass blower smart dudes list. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm not much. I don't make stupid lists like that. It's half the joke. But he is a really, really intelligent guy, and he explained this whole thing in that the way he lays this glass down, like you'll see next, is less prone to stress. Better for his sculpting process where he's going to be adding some stress and all this and that. So just something to keep in mind. And yeah, he's going to tack these bad boys together so he's got like a rod, a long one of them, and then spiral it all on. And what the heck? What were we talking about before?
That's going to be at Melt, yeah?
He's coming back to Melt. That was a big part of the reason another part of the reason we needed my dog, Kevin Beecher.
Everybody, here's a moment of silence for Kevin's audio issues.
Pour one out. It is what it is. It's we're back in the saddle. And some issues, I guess, are to be expected. But really, I'd like to start this bad boy on time in theory and such. But yeah, that was just a strange issue, though. We could hear him, but he couldn't hear us.
Yeah, we'll have to puzzle that one out.
No, we will.
Start way early next time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, exactly. So, excuse me. Salt just making these rods.
Right.
Yeah, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, going to go learn with people and how it's important to not be a bitch about it. For real. Like, don't be all like, oh, that class is 4 hours away. Do what you got to do. Get up. Like, for real. Like, I'm not trying to pitch myself as the hero of this story, but what I used to do, to get to some of those virtue classes, because I was also a single parent, I still have full custody of my daughter. She's all old now, though, but for all these years, it was just me and her, and there was little flexibility for me. So when it came to like that weekend trip, like I'd drop her off and then hit the road, at like 5:30 in the morning or whatever to get up, to Northern Virginia from Norfolk. It's like a 3 or 4 or 5 hour drive of traffic to get to those classes of virtue. That's where I learned with Lacey. It's where I learned with so many amazing people. Roger Paramore, Grimm, the list just goes on with awesome classes that I took there. Shout out to Virtue. Shout outs to Amy Glick, the co-owner of Virtue or whatever, the queen or whatever. She was out there at the Starship hanging out. It was such a great time.
Awesome.
All right, so here we go. Let me digress for a moment. Check this out. So he's just spiraling this thing on so there's no air or anything. It's all getting pushed out, but Like I said, he also mentioned that like this spiraling thing and coiling it this way makes the coil more, like I said, like a chain link fence was the analogy that he used, as opposed to just, spiraled on layers.
Hmm.
Yeah, and this is something you can do with regular color rods as well. It doesn't have to be gun mounts to do it this way.
Wow, he's spinning that fast.
Oh yeah,
It's like a drill.
it really is. Yeah, he's really giving it a good mixing as it applies. And for some colors that can be very beneficial.
Wow, this is amazing.
Yeah. Some of those touchier colors, if you can get them hot enough to apply it that way, like it's just already gotten that core heat in it, is going to be super happy.
So you would do this with a rod too?
Yeah, I would consider doing this with the rod. I do it at time, maybe not this fast, but when applying stripes, when doing Millefiore and stuff, some colors you can kind of mix it as you go.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if like I'm trying to fill a section in and the color is touchy.
Do
If
some
I'm
color yeah, do some colors need more of this?
Well, it's just they don't necessarily need it, but if you're trying to fill a section with a touchier color and you can really get that heat into it to get going that way, you can kind of really glob a bunch down. But if you glob that much, it kind of becomes problematic, and that way you're like pushing out the edges and it's getting really hot and mixing as it goes, and it's just leaving you this happier glass to fill those sections. So it's kind of just another methodology for filling glass in, and I wouldn't do it on a section where like the line was really important. But
Right.
once you get, there's a lot of times where you just have to fill in to get to the next important section. So you can just straight stripe that glass, but if you can also twist it on, you can really kind of get something of a mix going and get a happier glass, and it can be faster in a sense.
Would be kind of cool to see him using a couple different colors here just to see what the twist looked like after he was all done. Like if you could even discern those two colors when he was done, or if it would just all be.
Oh,
He's
I'm
going
sure
so fast. I
you'd
can't
have to
imagine.
you'd have to do a lot more mixing than that to get two Boro colors to go together. But
Okay.
yeah, no, you definitely see all the striations. It would probably look awesome.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, check that out. That blank started as those strips of them, and those are Revolution 9 homies. Shout outs to them. Then documenting all kinds of events out there in Vegas.
Noah.
Yeah, Noah's in the background. I was filming, or not filming, rather, I was editing Mia Shea's demo, who did a demo on the other bench over there, and Noah is in the background quite often, and I've considered Noah. We're talking about the HVO employee sitting in the booth back there. Shout outs, he's a really cool cat. He's like their engineer, I guess.
He's our tech. Yeah. He
Tech.
makes all the machines. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a really smart guy, and he's the one chilling back there on his phone or whatever, probably checking into Torch Talk. I don't know. No,
Probably.
just kidding. But anyways, the joke here was that he was in the frame so often that I was gonna make him like a drinking game, like Spot Noah game. But I realized that many people in the audience would die, so
Nice.
I thought better of it.
Good call.
Yeah.
Safety first.
So here again, guys, he's cooking this glass in and getting it happy enough to begin his process. Glass was already kind of like so hot and mixed on that it's not, it doesn't take as much. Speak of the devil, there's Jessica, who we were giving shout outs to, the queen of the starship.
Joshua Williams in chat is headed down to Chrysler soon. He's taking a class with Cha.
Oh, that Cha class.
Yeah.
That's great. I envy you for that one. That's a great one.
I think actually there's two people in chat. I think Catfish John. He said he's going to be there on there too.
What? Gosh.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Nice guys. Unfortunately, I'm no longer in Norfolk, or I would be crashing part of that class at the very least. Just be like, it's your boy Mike Mason, just here to
Party at Mike's.
here to do some coverage. Type of thing. No, Cha is Chris, really nice guy. Had the opportunity to film his demo at the Gas Conference in Murano. If you've not seen that, go to the torchtalk.com/playlists and the Glass Art Society one. You'll see that there. It's one of the Glass Central Presents episodes. So, yeah. So here, guys, he's just beginning to shape this out. Even this blank out, condense it, get it happy and really ready to become a pipe.
Talking to the painter back there.
All right, check it out. Some shaping in the flame here.
Making some large format Benjamins.
And look at this, you guys. He's kind of giving it this little wiggly wiggle, and then he gave it that little tap on the bench. And he makes Salt is so good. He makes me think of like these abstract artists, like all those classic abstract artists. They're like, oh well, why did they just throw the paint at the thing? Why did they do all that? The reality is that these guys were trained as realists and that sort of thing in general, and the idea of painting it to look like reality, they're way past that shit, so I don't know, the notion is that some of these cats think that they paint that way because they can't do the basics or whatever, but like it's because they're free from that and they get to make amazing things without having to be there. And Salt is like, he's like that, man. He is, he does these free form creatures essentially and just kind of goes at it and makes a new vision live. I think that's a bit of what's happened here. I'm not certain he had any specific vision for this. Kind of let the shaping take him as he went. And anyways, I think that that move where he's like giving it those little tugs, it's something that took me years to kind of wrap my head around, like what's exactly is going on here, or kind of shaking the piece out and that sort of thing. But it's like I feel like it's initiating like flow at like the molecular level in a certain way, like almost forcing the molecules to start flowing around. I don't know. It's I'm probably not describing this well, but I don't know. It was like that motion where he was really kind of pushing him back and forth and not too fast, but letting him start to flow around. It's I don't know. You guys should go back and watch that, or I should have put it in slow motion or something, because it's a really slick move and it lent itself to like this gradual shape, that's flowing organic shape. It wasn't like when you pull the taper on a spoon. You know what I mean? That would be like the layman's like, okay, I got this thing and I'm gonna give it a little tuggy there, whatever. And now he's just pulling sections out to give it like appendages. It's too fucking cool. I feel like we're just watching a master who has maybe transcended certain rules of the game, and his shaping process is just having fun with it and letting the glass talk to him. And maybe he sketched this thing out 6 months in advance. I could be wrong, but I think that's been kind of the point with some of these sculptures he's been doing lately. He just has some fun with them and lets each one become its own character and have its own kind of vibe going on. I think that comes from just kind of living in the moment.
Mike, was this done to make a thicker wall tubing? Inks Glassworks is asking in chat.
Well, I think that, yeah, I mean, look at how big this piece is now. And I think that gave him enough glass to pull out that longer section and have a thick section on the end. And I think here he realized that maybe it was getting a bit thin for what he wanted to do with the bowl, perhaps. So now he's adding a bit of extra glass. It's And he certainly added enough to get his process started. I'll put it to you that way. But I mean, here we see he's adding more, so it's like, it maybe wasn't necessarily enough.
So is this kind of a coil pot, or no, not at this point, because he's actually putting it on top of something. So what would you call that?
Well, you can also like I wouldn't call it a coil pot, because it's like not making necessarily a pot, but you can also do a coiling around a solid, not solid, but a hollow, like a tube.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to like stripe tubes. You can coil tubes. You can do all sorts of stuff. So I would consider this, yeah, this is like a flat coiling. I would maybe not a coil pot, but this
Right.
is more of a coiling over. And I mean, it's like there's a few different terms for it. I don't know what the right one would be, but it's like tubulation when you add that glass over and then do what you got to do to it. A good example of this is like Micah Evans, in some of the footage that I shared, where me and him actually did a collaboration, where he took some air trap prep that I made and made this amazing raven sculpture with it. And it's like the blank, he did the basic shaping of it, but like each time he wanted to pull out like a peak that would form like the tuft of feathers or whatever, he would add clear over that and really like push that clear in and then blow it out and pull it out so that when each appendage came out, it still had enough glass there. And see here, he's added that glass over it, and he's carving at the same time, but you can see there's all that heat, and he's blowing into it, so it's pushing out through that all that glass that he added. So it's I think that it allowed him to add all that glass like really quickly and smoothly, like on the fly. If you striped that glass on or did some of these other methods, you would really have to be, off axis cooking all that glass in. There's a really slick way to add more glass to the wall, and again, it comes back to what Salt mentioned about it forming this chain link pattern, like in the stress, versus a straight coil or a stripe or whatever it'll be. So instead of these lines, there's all these chain link sections that he says become somewhat self-reinforcing in terms of transmitting stress through the piece. So for what he does, it reminds me of like we did that Firefly episode of Torch Talk. That was like the last episode of Torch Talk. But we talked a lot about how he was really taking his time to alleviate stress. Like every single time he went into a new part of it, he was like really cooking it in with the hand torch before adding things next, and just really taking his time with it. And I think for Salt, coiling that glass on, and like, I mean, who better can you trust to tell you which method provides less stress than somebody who does what we're seeing right now, which is carving these acute angles.
Yeah.
That's stressful for the glass, but it survive. How there we go. They were like, well, how did they get away with it? How did they get away with putting opals in the eyes? How this and that? It's because everything surrounding the touchy thing was happy before the touchy thing was applied. It's just something to think about if you want to get into carving and anything in the glass. I'm not a big fan of the worst thing I shouldn't say this as my sponsor Dopals is up, but opals, I'm not a big fan of. The big opals, crushed opals, I love. Buy a lot of crushed opals from Dopals Opals, but no, it's not like that. Opals, if you put them under a polariscope, especially the larger ones, like there's a lot of stress there. And, for me, I'm not experienced enough to feel like I can use them safely to put them on a piece. The bigger the opal and, the more it becomes the selling point of the piece, the less likely it is to survive, if you're not really experienced with it. So
I wonder how much of a difference it makes if it's encased like deep in a marble versus a smaller pendant type thing.
it makes a huge difference.
Well, I mean, like stress wise, I wonder if what's
Yeah.
more likely to break.
The one that's deeper encased is way less likely to break. It's literally being held in place by good glass. It's like for example, profound opals, like they include this like tip sheet with them, and they kind of recommend against skinning opals unless skinning is when you encase your opal and then kind of pull like a stringer out from both sides so that there's very little clear left around it. like pulls all the clear glass off it. So there's just like a tiny little film of clear. And then you can place them wherever you want. The less glass around it, people, their recommendation is that it needs to have like X amount of the diameter of the opal around it. I forget the math. I don't want to mislead anybody. So,
Yeah,
but
something to look
those,
into, I guess.
yeah, their baseline recommendation is that you need to have like a certain amount of glass around it for it to be safe. So
Hey,
you
Peter
know.
was asking to change the subject a little bit back to Salt here, though. Salt and Micah Evans, they were shopmates in Texas down at Grab Labs. Is that right?
I mean, I don't know the exact situation because I've never been down there, but I do understand that. Yeah, I mean, they have a whole podcast together, and they did
Oh,
they
yeah?
did like at least just a few episodes, but like they're definitely homies, and I do believe they were working together there at a certain time. I think it's like a big facility that has like a bunch of studio spaces together, so it's like you might be in like that building, but it's like
Kind
he
of like
may
a
have like a
collaborative.
huge like giant space in a warehouse, kind of thing. And that's my understanding of what it was like. So, and he
I
might
ran
have
in,
been in there, but what's that?
I was gonna say I ran into Stephen Pierce at ASGS, and he was telling some crazy story about Grab Labs, that the way that he got a tour of it. I won't say it here, but we should try and we'll have to talk about that sometime.
All right, we'll have to get
It's
him
kind of
on
funny.
the into the fireside chat.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
So this is looking very fleshy, is what's the consensus in chat.
It is. It is. It's mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Let's see. If I was asking a knife maker to make one, what would I call this knife shape he's using? I think his tool.
Oh. Um, that's a good question. I need to see the knife again.
Yeah, we'll have to wait for it to pop up.
Hopefully
Griffin Tools maybe makes that knife, Peter says.
hopefully we have a knife expert in the chat.
I guess if you're using a colored punty, it's going to be really easy to see how much glass you have to take off when you break your punty off.
That is one advantage. Another advantage to the cobalt punnies, or just putting like a little bit of a color on the end of your punny for certain processes, it's actually useful because that color's stiffer.
Right? You
So,
can see if it's cold or hot seal.
well, it's not even necessarily about seeing it, but I mean, it shows color easier, sure. But it's also going to take a little bit more heat before it starts flexing.
Okay.
So, especially for beginners that, or
Versus
processes,
clear?
oh yeah, definitely. Like cobalt, for example, is going to be way stiffer than clear. It's going to take a lot more heat to start moving.
Okay.
So if you do like a blowout or something along those lines off of that instead of clear, it's going to be a bit more resilient and hold up to that process a bit better.
Hmm.
Yeah, got a fucking cyborg filming here. Now that's
Yeah.
that's the Head Life homies, and guys, if you're not familiar, you should definitely go see the recap video. Like they just posted it like a week ago or something, and it's their recap from Glass Vegas this year. And it's like 20 minutes and has like awesome interviews and just awesome footage of the show. And if you have any inclination about coming out to this show, either to sell glass, to buy glass, to watch these demos and just be part of the party, to race a car in the Derby, to chill in the tea room, whatever it is, you should definitely give that video a watch. And then back to the demo here, you guys. Now, I didn't have the best angle on this, and it's a lot to just jump up on stage in the middle of these demos, and it's just a lot to do, and some random person's gonna like jump in my spot or something, and then I'm gonna have to argue with them in the middle of a demo. There's just a lot that can happen. So I was not in the best spot for this. But check what he is going to do is he opened up a hole. He's going to do a 3-hole bowl, to be clear. And this is really fucking cool. And you're going to have to use your imaginations. I'm sorry, but like for you visual thinkers out here, what he has done is he has opened the hole and he's like gonna pull down a little bit of a stringer there, and he's gonna kind of draw the rest of the the rest of the thing in, such that there's 3 holes. If that makes sense. And then he's gonna cook in the connection and ream it out and cook it in and ream it out and cook it in and ream it out until it looks like a fucking salt shaker or something, you know? Like it's really, really nice. So check this out. Like I said, I wish I had a better angle here, but sometimes you just
hard
have
to hop behind somebody's shoulder in a demo like this.
Exactly. So check this out though. I think you can see what he's doing. He's building up like a little cross. See, it went out to the middle and now he went over to the other side. It's like he's making it into like a peace symbol, I think. Does that make sense?
Mercedes.
He's like drawing a peace symbol into the hole. And like I said, I wish I had a better angle on this. But if you imagine that he's filling it in and like I said, just literally drawing that on and adding enough glass to do it. Looks like a paring knife or a fillet knife. A little fishing knife. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so check it out. And now he's just going to cook his little peace sign, cook all that glass in, and just keep poking him until he's got nice little holes. Yeah, like I said, I wish we had the camera on this, but for real, if you just imagine that hole and imagine him drawing each little line that forms the 3, parts of the peace symbol, that connect in the middle, that's what he did.
So yeah, everybody go sign up for Torch Pass and we'll have GoPros on all the demo artists next year.
Yeah. All right, so check it out. Pushing in the bowl. Yeah, I know. I really think that's like the coolest part of the demo, even if we didn't really get to see it. It's like it's not hard to imagine, at least in my mind. We saw enough. I hope. If not, go take a class with Saul. I mean, what can I tell you? It's free. So, no, but for real, he's
yeah.
Like I said,
really
he cooked those in, and gave him the poke, and now that he's got the thing done, he's giving it like a final. Make sure everything's right where it's supposed to be. But that's how we did it, you guys. 3-hole bowl. It's one I should I'll do it myself one day, and we'll get like a perfect angle on it being done. But like I said,
in the bottom, it's like it catches your ash type of thing. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, definitely. It's got 3 holes instead of 1, so 3 tiny holes. You'll get to see it shortly. And yeah, now that he pushed that bowl, looks like he's really taking some time to put this thing into a nice, bushy annealing flame.
The money shot.
It was a cool shot. And I think he just picked up an eyeball, is that right? He's got his, he rounded out his punny, sorry.
Okay.
No, there he goes. Yeah, he's picking up an eyeball. He made the punny more pointed first, and then did a quick cold seal, Just the punny was hot. That eyeball was sitting on the bench. And when he came to melt in 2016, he had a fucking Ziploc bag full to the brim of these things. And he was throwing them on everybody's stuff. I made the joke to a homie, man. Shout out to Jamie Wade. He was thinking about coming out to an event or something. I hope he comes to melt. I was telling him, I was like, man, Salt's coming back. He collaborated with everybody who asked nice. And that was not a joke. Like Salt was happy to collaborate and talk and, learn and teach with anybody who was nice to talk to him. So he really is like a humble dude for his tremendous skill level and,
yeah, he's seriously down to earth.
Yeah, he really is, you guys. Huge shout outs. We'll definitely have him on for a fireside chat sometime. Alright, so check it out. Really getting the spot that he wants to put this eye on hot. Looks like he's getting that torch right. Not his usual torch. Alright, so check it out. He's going to get both really happy. Caught a flash of that bowl. It looks really cool, right? Right, but bam,
Nice.
there he goes. Just pushed it on and knew that wall was right. Give it a little tug back, I think, as he snapped it. You know, when you do those seals, it's always good to like push and pull back. Giving it a little puff now to kind of help that inner wall come out happy. And if you look there, it's just like a really smooth connection to that eye. And he's about to you know, hit it and give it like eyebrows or whatever, or eye. What do we? What's the right term here, Carrie?
I'm sorry, I spaced out. I was in the chat.
Okay, yes, we heard you
Okay.
clicking away. Yeah. What what is the right term for the top and bottom of the eye on the penis here or whatever? I'm just
Sorry,
kidding.
what?
This dick
uh,
monster or whatever this thing is. I don't know. No, but for
eyelids.
I think it might be the lid. I guess is the right term.
Mike Astral filled in for us. Thanks,
Yeah.
Mike.
Okay. Thank you, Mike. Big ups, homie. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to everybody who's joined us. It's fun to be back here and having having a Tuesday night party where I get to ramble and bullshit. I will admit I've missed it somewhat, but there's just been so much going on. It's been a time of transition for me physically and mentally, and I'm just coming around to a slightly different vision for how I've wanted to present this content. And here we are. Now, I'll talk about. I think he's pulling out more little spots or whatever. Your guess is as good as mine as to why he decided to do this now instead of the eyelid or whatever. But I guess maybe he just didn't do it earlier or saw that he wanted to have an additional appendage there and just wanted to add that part of the vision real quick. But in any ways, I think I wanted to just mention that when he gets into the eye, there's some people like to just go at the eyebrow with a round rod, and then they'll carve in their detail or push in the shape to make it more flat. And Salt, what I've noticed is that he likes to flatten the end of his rod before it goes on. So as he's adding it, it's already like a flattened part of the brow. Just something to notice, you know, if making eyes is something you'd like to get into. His methodology is really cool, and there's one that is on Torch Pass now. Some of you guys may have joined us later or whatever. I was sharing some of the stuff that's on Torch Pass. Everything that I film will be released for everybody in time, but a lot of the stuff is going on Torch Pass first. And one of them is a later part here where Salt took Laceface's demo piece and added all kinds of cool stuff to it. And here's Danger Visual in the house doing his thing. Freaking awesome artist. It's really cool at Glass Vegas, you guys. They have painting on stage. There's music one night. They had a whole glass orchestra another night where everybody brought glass instruments and played together. It was fucking really cool. Anyways, looks like we're getting a little bit more gun mount together here, potentially to do those eyebrows and such.
How many different colors of gun mount are there, Mike?
That's a great question. I really couldn't tell you. There's definitely like a core palette of them, maybe 10. But there could be more. Maybe I'm already exaggerating though. I'm not certain.
Definitely not as many gun mount colors as there are types of ants.
Oh, hell no. No. Not even close. There's potentially billions of types of ants. Science, Mike says. No, I looked it up. There's like 12,000 types of ants. But close enough for my exaggeration. Okay, so check it out. He's mixing that up, kind of twisting it up, and I think he might pull that down now. Got a nice solid section of that he needs. I'm just going back the other way. So yeah, here's another method of working with these gun mounts.
Not many questions from chat tonight.
Right?
Yeah. Somebody had asked about the carbon, or like what's the black on that flame. So everybody was talking about the carbon deposit from the annealing flame. And
All right.
who was that? Inks Glasswork said carbon's also used during sculpting, so you can see the details. It takes the reflection out of the glass, and you can kind of get a handle on what you're working on a little bit better. Yeah,
Okay,
that
that's
was
cool.
interesting. Yeah. Joshua Williams says, the whole time I'm watching this, I'm thinking, what am I going to do with these texts so I can post it on Torch Talk and tell everyone to watch this video?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Noon's reading up on gun mounts right now.
Yeah. What is... Let me see if I can find that company that sells gun mounts. Might be just gunmountglass.com, but... It is it's gun mounts glass. So not gun mount glass. Gun mounts glass.
Gotcha. Peter Castraba is saying Boro bars and Paramore colors are similar to gun mounts, he thinks.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Red just throwing out a number for the drawing already.
Okay, yeah, don't do that. They currently have white, pink, and blue gun mounts on the gun mount store that are now, just like what we're seeing Salt use here.
Are these manufactured for glass blowers now, or are they still specifically for TVs, or what's the deal
these
there?
are all old stock. Okay. From Corning or whatever, so
they're not made anymore?
No. They're definitely not made anymore.
Cathode TVs?
Yeah, no, those aren't made anymore, and gun mount glass stopped being made along with them.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. So these they kind of have a premium of cost and everything, and some of them are amazing and renowned, like there's certain colors of them, like the brown gun mounts. Those are essential in the recipe to OG moss, and when they're worked they turn green and have the sparkle, and it's nuts. The piece that Salt made in his demo at Melt in 2016, as I recall, he had the brown gun mounts and mixed them onto a blank, and it kind of came out with a moss looking thing, It was pretty cool. Yeah, so no, they're not sold or manufactured anymore. So cats like Salt, who happen to get these big boxes of them from Corning, are sitting on gold. And my understanding is that the way that they're made, because we were somebody in the chat had mentioned the Boro bars or Boro sticks, or even the old Indian the Glasstronics. Okay, here's where he flattened that eyebrow lid or eyelid, whatever you want to call it. So check that out. That's exactly what the move I was mentioning. Just something to really take note of, because it strongly affects the way it looks after he applies it, But bam, see that? And it goes right to the edge of where he pushed down. And does his little, almost the same way he tapers a horn. And look at that. See, it gave it that flat brim of a thing, and even accentuates that by immediately hitting it and giving it that flatten.
Yeah, there's that knife again. It does look like a fillet knife.
Yeah. Yeah, Elbow specifically mentions using a fillet knife, and he likes one that has a point, because when he carves in those things, he likes to go in from the very corner of the eye, where it goes in towards the nose area, and carve out from there, because it's supposed to look like it, where our eyes naturally pinch in towards our nose, He likes to, really push that in with the tip of the blade. Salt's blade looks a little more dull, but, he's not, there's not a nose involved here. I don't know. And then the bottom one, not as flattened. Another thing to keep in mind there. I might not be salt, but I can tell you if it's flattened or not, so that's half the battle.
Good stuff.
No, but see, but there he did, he gave it some shape. But I think it would have been hard to get such a dramatic overhang the way he does on the top if he applied it round and then was trying to push that glass out over the eye. That would be a lot harder, I think. So I think that pre-shaping move is conducive to that, like, his style of eye. Both the Head Life homies over here. These are great dudes. And their wrap-up video, recap videos, is really, really good. These guys tell a story about the event, and a different thing than what I do. I'm really interested in documenting glass process, but they're really telling the story of these events, in a different way. I have so much respect for that. Them, Dan Collins. There's a number of cats out there who are just doing tremendous work to tell the story of our industry. Meanwhile, I'm over here filming demos, but I think that's important too. So, it's, I think it's really cool that this is just going to be the most documented time in glass, and, we're really, in many ways, capturing the ground floor of a whole new movement in this, glass thing, and I take that work seriously. I think it's something special and something that it'll be, I think it's beneficial to have it now, but I think down the road especially, it's going to be like, wow, we really have some of these legends who carved the path for this, but to really be able to properly show them doing their thing.
Hey, Mike, that episode recently that you posted from Glasscraft and Beat Expo, I think you posted it live already, the flesh color mixing. Who was that?
David Kaminsky.
All right, it was David Kaminsky.
Yeah, big shout outs. And guys, check this out. The homie's using like a piece of threaded steel, like like one of those handles from a cheap tool, where they just throw some like padding over it, but it's really just threading inside that goes into the graphite. Like it's one of those type of things. I'd like a little bigger, but I mean, it just goes to show you how much fun you can have with glass by just like stopping in at Home Depot or whatever. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be from one of these excellent tool companies that sponsors my work. It's no, it's you don't have to spend a lot of money. One of my favorite tools is this like $5 reamer that you can get on eBay.
Oh, yes. The one that sells out when Mike mentions it.
Yeah, well, I made a post about it on Torch Talk, and the guy sold out, and yeah.
It's sharp.
It is. There it is. They call it I hear them finding one. They call it an alloy steel expanding hole opener for body RC car. So they use this to like punch holes in the body of RC cars. But that's like a reamer on eBay. You can get it, maybe a steel reamer hole punch. I don't know. I'll have to find that post, but I found one of them.
Yeah, somebody posted after you did that, like the 3D printed extended handle, right?
Somebody did, and they said they were going to send me one, but they never did. So I can't tell you if it worked. But yeah, guys, not to get too far removed, I mean, what do you want me to tell you? But I mean, the homie is just here going through applying heat and, heat tool. But then now, importantly, he's adding heat back to this area that he just added all this texture to. And, it's something Mataskuki and all these, a lot of people have taught me, anytime that you apply a tool to the glass, always give it a second to put some heat back, because the tool steals some heat. Even a little tool like a tungsten pick or whatever, So it's always a healthy idea to just if you're tooling on a hot area, reestablish some heat real quick. Just takes 2 seconds. and that'll make your glass a lot happier in the end. I
always say glass is an insulator and metal's a conductor. Metal steals that heat right away.
well said. That
Yeah.
sounded smart.
Thanks. Hey, everybody, I'm Carrie, and I sound smart.
Good stuff. Good times. Yeah. All right. What will he add next? Is the question. This tap bucket brought to you by Guinness Blonde. This is what happens when you have to find tap buckets at a casino. All right, here we go. And guys, this tip-off method is just watch what he does. Is he moves very quickly. He has this move down so good. It's always done with the initial heat. He is never like adding a horn and then coming back to it later, and like making a nice taper. Fuck that. The best heat is the first heat. And this is something a few different people have taught me over time. I forget who really taught me first, but it's that heat that is initially in something when you add it. Like if you can keep going and stay in there and not have to like garage it or let a section cool down, that's always the best time to do that work to it or do whatever you got to do.
Yeah,
So
that's
just
a
something
soft
to think
glass
about.
mantra.
So here we go. Watch him go. And watch how it's like, it's all hot when he's pulling it, but it's cooling at the base, so it's naturally tapering. And like, look at this. Grab. Done. And I've watched him do this a lot now. I've had the opportunity to film him quite a bit. And it's like, this is just so, this is part of his motif. And he is just so fucking good at it. And just, if you can get comfortable with this, like just grab a like a tube or something and just start adding horns to it and really don't spend ages on it. If you don't get it in this one kind of nice smooth move on to the next. Cover that whole motherfucker in horns, until you get. Now here he comes back for the tiniest little tip off just to sharpen it, but he's not actually adding any of the taper there, and that's what I mean. He's doing it all on that initial push and pull off, and I just think it's critical, and the way that he adds those horns, that's what I'd take note of when I see him shaping those things out. Is just all in one move. Timing as it cools. Letting that base cool and then pulling out the tip, and then just as it's all going and still giving it a little pull as he goes, and then just comes to that end and tip. It's almost like tipping off like a reversal section, or something like that, where you want a clean termination. You let it get super thin, and you like tip until it's just so fucking thin. And then gently let it cook back and let it thicken back up, and then you've got this super clean termination because super thin glass came together. Here's another random piece of tooling. It's just like a clear piece of, like, not a clear rather, but like a boring old piece of tubing. That's got looks like a slightly angled edge. Maybe not. I don't know.
Looks like brass or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Who knows? But he's just getting each little thing hot and giving it a nice little poke there.
Yeah, he's just looking for that shape.
Yeah, and gives it just like a really cool texture. I notice Bob Harley Dog, shout outs to the Doghouse Glass.
Yeah.
I notice he uses a similar thing to get a similar kind of texture.
Okay.
Yeah. He's really the first person I've seen use a tool like that.
Gotcha.
That just goes to show you, you got. It really does not necessarily have to be something made for glass. And if you can find something cool and fun that imparts a unique texture and...
Oh, I mean, who doesn't go to the hardware store and look throughout the whole store thinking, okay, what could I do with that?
I don't know. It's sometimes you do, and then in other times, I think maybe we can trap ourselves, with like... with just shopping, in glass stores for stuff that we're going to use in the studio.
Right.
Whereas for stuff like this, for shaping and tooling the glass, I mean, gosh, we're using boro, guys. Like, let's take advantage of its magical properties to resist stress and temperature change and all of that. The sky's kind of the limit, and Salt is one of these cats who really is proving it. He was
So,
reestablishing some nice heat in that section that he just did all those pokes or whatever.
so speaking of heat, how would you compare this Black Widow with a Bravo?
I've never really worked on a Black Widow. It's supposedly like a souped up CC.
Okay. How would you compare a CC to a Bravo?
I think a CC and a Bravo are pretty comparable.
Okay.
Um, the CCs, both of their center fires are going to be a bit more sharp, you know. They've got these really needle point, single hole center fires. It's just a matter of which diameter that you get. And so those are both like really sharp and definitely hotter, I think, than the Bethlehem's like surface mix. The newer ones, like the Sharp Flame Champion and the stacks, like the small stacks, those are based on the new Sharp Flame design, which is kind of based or similar to the old Bethlehem Sharpfire hand torch and like the PME or PM2D rather. The
Okay.
PME is what the hand torch is called, but the
Gotcha.
PM2D. Um, so yeah, but it's nothing compared to like how sharp and hot that CC center is, and then the outer though is kind of, you know, small and gentle. It's about, in my mind, about the same scale as the Bravo. They're torches of similar capabilities in my mind.
Bravo's quieter, right?
Way quieter, yeah, definitely, yeah. You
Yeah, I
know, and
was
that
watching.
said, it's like I think it was what's his name, Stevie, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It did.
His quiet CC.
He sent us one, and it was legit pretty quiet. Like if you're running them, you know, gently or whatever, and you got a good one, that you know, they're just giving you that nice little gentle crackle. And then others, like gosh, the one that they had at Zen during the gas conference demos, which good God, is like the most beat down torch I've ever seen in my life. But man, that thing was like the loudest freaking torch. It's kind of hard to hear at times, but Eric Goldschmidt is on the microphone for that, so it's just really when David was speaking that.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the demo I was watching the other day. I
Yeah,
could
it's that.
hear it from the other room. I was like, oh,
That's yeah
the
that.
CC.
Yeah, that CC was no joke. That thing was fucking talking. So yeah, they're all a bit loud, but it really is to do with that premix center fire. You know, those are just innately loud. Just sit there and it's like a little explosion inside. So can't blame it for being but so, you know, loud or whatever.
Right, right.
Yeah. And guys, big ups to those companies that you see down in the corner. I've tried to make it, you know, as unobtrusive as possible, just hanging out in the corner every now and then. But at the same time, these companies and you homies who pitch in, it's just making it possible to cover all of these shows, and there's just a tremendous amount of amazing stuff to share. I think it's so important for our industry to capture this sort of stuff and engage people who want to be engaged with this content, be it makers or consumers or just appreciators, museums, all of it. It's and you know, you guys and these homies in the industry are who's making that possible. So just want to take a moment to acknowledge them and give thanks. So yeah, heating up these sections and just pulling out nubs. There's so many cool little tricks in this hour or whatever of glass. And Salt just works incredibly fast. It's like he gets so much amazing stuff done so efficiently. You know, all these little nubs and like the texture on the eye with the handle or all that stuff. it's something that Salt talks about in his work. He wants to make work, he said, that touches kind of all the senses, and that they're part of these sacrament, or rituals of our lives, that we use for these special moments, and he wants them to be something that accentuates that. I'm getting too deep now. I'm selling it for him, getting too far from what he originally said, but maybe Carrie can help me, because I think you were there when he was talking about this. Maybe you weren't. I don't remember.
I was
went.
there, but it was far too late in the day.
Yeah, it was late. But he was going on about, like the tactile sensations of it. It's not just the look of it. He's also concerned about making it something that feels good in the hand and has these interesting tactile sensations that go along with it's more on paper use or whatever. It's like you don't buy a pipe to massage your hand or whatever, but it's like it adds to it when it has all these unique textures, and just it gives it more character.
Some people are naturally fidgety.
Yeah.
It's a nice acupressure tool.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So here he is adding little tiny miniature spikes. There's so many varied little techniques of texture, and I think one point I was mentioning earlier that I got distracted was the one where he collaborated with Laceface afterwards. And I think what I was mentioning was that this techniques you get to see, he's able to do them in miniature as well. And I think this notion that like flattening that brow beforehand allowed him to get that reach over. Like he's doing it over a little Millie eye in that demo. So we're talking like 1/5 the scale, and there is just no room to play there. So in my mind, it kind of speaks to the notion that these shaping steps, they're all for the benefit of the process. That is an awesome looking pipe, though, huh?
It is. Starting to take shape here.
It really is. It's like there's no surface that really ends in a traditional like tubing shape or anything. Something I picked up on like I think it was Elbow. He mentioned when he used to do these pickles, when he first started, he used to make like little pickle pipes. And he said that when they really went from looking like some guy trying to make a pipe look like a pickle to looking like fucking pickles, is when he started doing the carve over the top and gave it like that little like texture that pickles have, because like on one side they've kind of got all these little like almost, it's like where the skin of the pickle is stretching in to where it was attached to a stem, right? And so when he carved in those details, like that's what really sold it and took it from looking like a tube, or whatever, to looking like something that instantly read. And all these little carving moves, there's no surface that isn't like touched and looks organic, and it's like his work is just, it's fucking awesome to look at, and man, it really is starting to take shape here, as you said.
So Lacey and Salt were doing a collab at this too, but this isn't that piece. They were just chatting at this point, yeah.
Well, I think that from there, she took the pipe and added stuff to it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and I think that footage is on Torch Pass as part of like as her demo.
$5.
Maybe it's not. Maybe I think. Wait, no. That one's already out, I believe, on Torch Talk. So if you go back like a few weeks or whatever, yeah, it's in her demo. It's at the end of her demo. I think she takes this pipe and adds some stuff to it. As I recall, I could be wrong.
It does sound familiar as you're saying that.
Film a lot of things.
No.
I'm gonna go back and like potentially tank our screen here, but.
What?
Yeah. I'm just
Did
kidding.
we miss something?
No, I'm just playing.
Oh.
Yeah, I was right. At the end of the Laceface demo, which was April 30th, 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see this pipe get additions from Laceface. So yeah, some of you guys have already gotten to see this pipe, like, but it's after it was already shaped. So yeah, if you really want to see where this bad boy went next, that could be your next video. It's just like a few weeks, like it's a few episodes back. So yeah, a couple months ago or whatever. And yeah, if you guys really want more action from Laceface, I feel bad for hitting on the Torch Pass thing so much, but it's like $5 and you unlock like 28 Torch Pass demos instantly. It's a no-brainer. Her gas conference demo is there, and that is a narrated demo. It's freaking awesome.
Kind of like a mini class, yeah.
It really is like a class, and, you know, she talks about all the things you see in her other demo, but it's, you know, all about making those flowing connections and how she adds all these beautiful tendrils around the piece, you know, and adds one after another, and weaves them around each other and keeps it all secure. Is kind of the important part, because it's like, you can make something look that way, sure, but if it doesn't survive, you know, or if it's not stable, you've added so many and none of them are secured properly. There's all these factors, and she's a master of it, so it's so worthwhile to hear her talk about how she does it and why. So that one's on there, but again, if you don't want to jump on there, it's all good. Yeah.
We just won't hang out with you at events.
It's okay.
I'm just playing.
It's all good. And guys, I did want to just take a second, bring you up to speed on that. Real quick, we're gonna do a giveaway. So, how many people are here right now?
Good question. I'm full screen, so I'm not seeing it. Let's see.
Oh, yeah. How many?
67.
67 are here right now?
100 probably.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and drop some numbers. 1 to 100. Because we got some things to give away. If you weren't here earlier, we got some lit giveaways here. We got some awesome pins from the Corning Library.
Corning swag.
Got some freaking playing cards, dice. Got some postcards from the Corning Library. Got Glass Vegas things. And then we've got I got some Millie Cane. This is Reptile Amber Perp Eye Cane. That shit y'all like. And then, while your numbers are coming in, if you didn't catch this earlier, take a few minutes. This stuff is all gonna be public in time, but this is over here at torchpass.tv, linked in the video description, and you can unlock a ludicrous amount of stuff. And what I'm trying to do with this is, you know, offer something to the people who are able to help me get to all of these shows and film demos like you just got to enjoy, and then share this all with the community. Everything that I film will be shared with everybody, but I want to find a way to hook the homies up who are actually helping me get to these shows. And what I've settled on is Torch Pass. This stuff hangs out there for at least 6 months. After 6 months, it can be released to the public, and we can all get to enjoy it. Some of it might sit a lot longer. Some of it might get released right at 6 months. It depends. There's so much new content coming in, and I really just kind of want to do one fun show a week and have our fun party together. So, you know, it's going to take a while to get all of this out, and some of it will just get released, I guess. But ultimately, the point here is I want to find a way to take care of everybody, do right by this community of people who are here, do right by the people who can pitch in a little bit to help me get to these shows, do right by the events who are so kind to let me capture this content and share it with the community freely.
Yeah, it really does help everyone.
I'd like to think it does help everyone, but for those who can help me do it with a few bucks a month or whatever, we got something special. And this is what it is. So all of these demos are kicking it here. $5 instantly unlocks it all. Hate to make it into a sales pitch, but again, we're gonna have a fun party every week, pretty much, whether you pay or not. Just being here is so special to me. So please, I hope nobody thinks it's about that. But at the same token, I have run into a financial wall involved in getting to all these different shows, and then trying to take some time to maybe film some cool shit like like the Lewis Wilson demo. I went to another studio after the Beat Expo to film that. So I had to take, extra time, an extra day on the trip. Means an extra day at a hotel. Means an extra day that I'm not home to work. And I hate to make it like that, it's because money stuff is just gross. But that's what it is. And I think at the end of the day, we really do all benefit from having this type of coverage, and having somebody who gives a shit, you know? And somebody who is not, my coverage is independent in the sense that, it's not one company that has any objective other than capturing this stuff for you. I'm supported by companies, but there's no, it's not like this isn't owned by any one business. My only loyalty is to the community and to these events and to these artists. And I think it just might be worth supporting. And there's so much cool stuff here, so I want to make it easy. I'm not the type to just ask for money. I always want to make it fun. So hopefully this is fun. And anyways, yeah, we're dropping 4 things a month on that. And I try to drop them on the first if I'm in town and have time. Sometimes there's been a couple of months where they got dropped, as I was on the road. But that's what I'm trying to do, like 4 dope things a month in exchange for $5 that goes right to my expenses and capturing all this cool shit. So I hope y'all don't mind taking a second to peep this. And it's also a sneak preview of all the cool shit you guys will get to see in the next year or two, along with the new stuff. So, and then yeah, guys, next week that Boro electroforming demo is going to be broadcast, actually. So that's an example of how this works. After 6 months, it's free to share with everybody when the time is right. So that is the theory here. And yeah, I hope y'all don't mind taking a second to talk about that. So yeah, that's that. Enough about that. Let's get some shit away. I really do appreciate everybody who's here, part of the party. I love the people who support, but just being here with this thing makes this possible in the first place. So I know our budgets are tight as flame workers and all that, so please don't think it's that big of a deal. But if you can, it'd be great. All right, do we have numbers in? Is everybody's numbers in now?
We need to wait maybe you just ramble for one more minute.
One more minute? Okay.
Couple of numbers that have been doubled up, and somebody was going to go back and pick a different one.
All right, cool. So Mecca says, so this is the best way for us to help contribute to helping you get to shows. Yes, it really is. Don't get me wrong. If some of my homies out there, win the lottery and want to just make a big donation, I'll accept that. I'm not above that. You know what I do? I've been doing this for years. I think you guys know exactly what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? Nothing's gonna change here. And it's, but I just want everybody who can to be able to pitch in a little bit, and by virtue of all of us coming together, we'll be able to do more. That's kind of my thought process. I don't really want anybody to have to go crazy, to make this possible. So between the sponsors and the homies who are pitching in, yeah, that's really all I feel comfortable asking, So no, that is the way. Yeah, and we're at about 100 now, and that's huge. Like, it's fucking amazing. I'm so grateful. Like, I love the life that I lead. I do have my eye on what we can do together with more, though. When we hit 200 or 300, I was mentioning this earlier, I have these visions that we could put on our own event, bring out some really cool artists, people we fucking love. why shouldn't we have something and bring some people out? We'll get a ton of awesome demos. All of that, there's all these possibilities that open up, and I ultimately just want this work to be sustainable. I'm not trying to have a Googleplex, with a freaking fish tank in the front. I just want to get to these shows, capture tight shit, preserve what we do properly, and yeah. But there's more that we can do together. There's ways we can compensate artists better to do more. There's all sorts of avenues that open up beyond just this. And God forbid, man, hate to sound like this, but could your boy maybe get a little bit for taking the days to edit this content? And again, I don't want to make it like that, but if I can't hop on the torch and I can't pay my bills, I can't. My daughter's about to go to college. You know what I mean? So I want to keep doing this. We've already come so far, but I just want to keep my eye on the prize that we're headed towards together, which is, established granular coverage of our industry. There will be no reason to miss a show. When we need to bring somebody else out to capture that other demo stage, we'll get it. It should be, what we're doing is so fucking awesome. It's insane that ESPN isn't there already, And then what do we get? We get Vice come in every now and then, and half the time it's, some new shady avenue on it. What was that thing the other day? They just put another one up that was not necessarily kind. I don't even want to get into it. It just reminded me of what I'd said years ago. I was like, we can't count on Vice, because when it suits them, they'll throw us under the bus. And that's what it was. There was another thing, and they were making jokes at the expense of pipe culture. And what was it? It was the guy who was making, like stupid fucking bongs, man. And he was like talking about, he was an Australian, so I'm not even going to try and, he's like, we're going to take this low culture and make it high culture, right? He was like just basically shitting on where our thing is at, and claiming that, his fucking ceramic knockoffs of a Vegemite bottle bong is somehow more real art than what Banjo does, whatever, man. Get the fuck out of here with that. I don't know, you're getting me on a tangent now, but I just think it is so important to document what we're doing properly, and I'm honored to be in that spot, and I'm not above asking for my friends to help do this right, because it is something that requires a little bit of help, to do it, and there's multiple paths, but I have gone out of my way to carve a path where no entity takes control over what we're doing, or, cuts something out for dumb reasons. None of that shit. I do this for the community. Nobody's contributing so much that they have any type of sway to take something away from y'all. And that's what I'm talking about, because there's, some trust fund kid's going to come along and try and do, do this thing in a really shitty way and exclude the whole thing because we didn't have the money to play the game right. So, anyways, we're getting pretty abstract there, but, anyways, okay. Are all the numbers in? Because you guys have got me a bit rambly now. It's been a while since we've talked, though. I definitely have some thoughts on this topic, as you guys can tell. Like, how do I keep doing what I'm doing, that I feel is great for all of us? How to do it the right way. It's what I've been obsessing over here for the past, whatever. As soon as I realized, it's not going to keep working, without some help. So it's hard to ask, but that's the deal. Let's see. Joshua says, what video is everyone talking about with Vice? Man, I don't know. I forget. Just go. It was like some dude from Australia who makes bongs, but they're like, he has like ceramic ones casted. He has like the Gatorade looking bottles done. He calls them like bugs or something, or spells it like that. Let's look that shit up. It was dumb. Yeah, Caleb, yeah, exactly. Saw that video, made me realize how bad Vice is for the glassblowing community, right? I'm saying, like, it seems like they're good sometimes when they shed positive light, but they're an entity that has no loyalty to us. They're not from within us. They'll throw us under the bus in a hot second and not think twice. It doesn't matter to them. Okay, where Is everybody's numbers in? Can we pick some numbers? Cause I got some cool stuff to give away for real. These postcards are dope. These are really neat. And guys, speaking of neat postcards, you best believe that I'm gonna throw y'all in the heaters, the classic heaters that I picked up in Atlantic City. Are y'all ready for these? I'm not certain y'all are ready for these, and if there's any children in the room, I'm not certain that you're ready for this. Okay, here we go. So I found these at that same dollar store where I posted in Torch Talk. They were selling glass pipes for $1, like worked color glass pipes for a fucking buck. Woo! Anyway, but they also had these vintage postcards from the 80s, yo. Check these bad bitches out, y'all. Woo! It's, yeah, that's right. They don't make them like that no more, guys. It's, okay. I got some postcards for the ladies, too. Mike Mason don't discriminate. Look at these bad boys representing Atlantic City. We got Life's a Beach. Yo, if you had that truck back in the day, you literally had like a fucking Van Halen video going on, like fucking people crowded in the back. Shit was crazy. And then, yo, what? Ooh, too hot. Too hot, guys. Okay. This episode is not safe for work any longer. All right, and check this out. Hey, from New Jersey, yo. That's that 80s or 90s, whatever, side boob. It's crazy. We got Beauty in New Jersey. Oh, yeah. And then we got Showtime Atlantic City. This one's pretty fucking cool, actually. I like that one. All right, so anyways, this is what happens when you leave me alone with a microphone and a webcam. Yo, check it out. We got a fresh melt flyer here. That one's got salt on it. So, like, this is quite the lineup. How about Tim Dreyer, y'all? Have you guys been peeping his work on Instagram lately? The drinkware stuff? Really fucking cool. If you haven't, go check him out. Yeah, this is all sick. Okay. I assume that we have all entered our numbers. 1 through 100. So we're gonna pick some winners now. Let's do this.
Just realized why you haven't been responding to me. My microphone was muted.
Oh, you've been talking?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I'm sorry. No, we've not heard you in quite a while, Carrie. I was beginning to worry. I was like, damn, man, Carrie does not seem amused by these postcards, yo. She does not like the ladies.
I was mentioning side boob and everything.
Oh, were you? Okay. Well, sorry, baby.
Volleyball. Dang.
All right. Okay. So, numbers are in? Man.
I think the numbers are in.
Okay, I see where all the numbers actually are. It seems like everybody picked the numbers ages ago, and you've just been letting me talk.
Some stragglers. No, there's some stragglers.
Okay.
Letting you talk. I told you to stop a million times, but I was muted.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Totally kidding.
All right. So, let's do this first. Okay, first up, let's give away this cool OG set. So we've got this card with some old motherfucker on like a skateboard. I don't know what's going on here, but it's crazy. And then it's got the OG like lamp working desk diagram. Fucking sweet. It's really cool. It's like for the OG fan. And then because we're gonna keep it OG, we gotta find well, we'll pick the postcard after. We'll winner's choice on the OG postcards. And then I am throwing in to each one of these winners tonight a piece of the Dragon Eye cane.
Nice.
So yeah, this is, I don't know if we'll really, oh well, look at that, we really can get a good look at it there, kind of. Anyways, yeah, that's That's like
This is
made. Look at that.
why everybody's sticking around.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Um. That's going in each one of these prizes. So let's go ahead and pick the first winner. Clickety clickety. Wait. Oh. Clickety 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 clack. Okay, 53. Who is 53 or close? Oh, I see two
Oh,
52s.
I see A53, Davis Alex 3.
Really? Okay, well, let's make sure it's the first one, though.
I did the find and only one popped
All
up.
right,
I
I'll
could
be
be
right
wrong.
back. Carrie, verify this, and I'll be back in like 30 seconds.
What? Verify. Well, so 53, to me, it looks like there's only one. Has anybody else seen another 53? Dibs on the side boot. Mike seriously went into that store and bought out the whole postcard rack. He thought you guys would love it. So I think that's going into some of the sticker packs, which are available. Somebody had asked about the subscriber packs, the Hunger Fund packs, and those are limited now on Torch Pass. And as people decide that they can't join at that level anymore, then those will open up. But I think they're all full at this point.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and
The,
and by the way, if you haven't liked the video, you should like this video too, and
Thank you, Carrie.
tell all your friends about Fireside Chat and how awesome it is.
Oh, yes. Good
Yeah,
thinking. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll address that as well. I didn't hear what Carrie said. I'm sure she was on it, but, the packs, homies, those are at their absolute limit of my ability to do pulls properly. Um, so those are kind of waitlisted right now. If you are interested in the subscription packs, just let me know, and I'll put you on the wait list. I hate to be like that, but like I'm not trying to play games with those and like make cheap, quick prep. Like I really try to do something nice for each one of those. You saw some of them in the little Patreon thing because show them. So it's like they're nice stuff, color combs and cool eye canes and octopus eyes, and I don't want to cheap out on those. And that involves like to get enough pieces to fulfill the packs right now. It's like going into an eye cane is like a pound and a half of color on each one. And when you get to that scale, like it starts to get harder and harder to keep them perfectly round and keep that pupil perfectly centered. So it's a matter of maintaining quality and then the materials and time. And then, like, if it goes weird, I just lost like a pound and a half of color in like a day of work, you know? Like the risk factor of doing the huger pulls, it's like I've really found a sweet spot, and I've determined that adding more people to that would require potentially doing like a whole extra pull. I also like the idea of everybody getting relatively the same things. Like I don't like the idea that somebody gets to see, okay, well the pack had 3 different pulls, but you only got 2 of them. What if you like that third one? And there's not enough that you can go to my store and buy it. Like, it's not the end of the world, but I have this ideal of everybody getting the same thing in the packs, and we're just. So, yeah, for logistical reasons, I'm, like, maybe even a little past the limit. Like, it's tough to get those, and, like, it makes me a little stressed because, like, the pull has to go perfectly. If there's one section that goes funny, like, I don't have enough. It's a tricky game to play doing really nice pulls for this thing,
Yeah,
and
and somebody was asking earlier, what's the best way to support you? If you don't think you can do $5 a month, but you have some money right now and you want to get something in return for that money and still help, Mike has his store over at Big Cartel, so you can get some cane to play with.
right, yeah, that is another way. I mean, I like to keep my store and everything separate from this work.
Yeah, you don't get the
It's
Torch Pass
like,
access, but
yeah, no, I mean, it's like, and the thing is, it's like you can support me and you can support my daughter going to college and stuff like that by buying my canes, but when it comes to the coverage stuff, I'm really trying to make that sustainable within like the Glass Central Station funding, continuum or whatever, which is my sponsors and my homies on Torch Pass. And I
And
like
FYI, we only drink beer that's like about $1 a can, so we're on a budget, so it's not all going to beer.
Yeah, no, I mean that is like the running joke or whatever, but you guys would, I mean, I don't want to get to, whatever, like it's just, man, I don't think you guys would believe how many Greyhound trips I've taken recently in order to like get to like all these different events on the same trip where it doesn't make sense exactly to like go home, because I've got to get to the next thing that's amazing, that's happy to have me. And then it's like, it's impossible to figure out when some of these trips end. So you're looking at buying like a last minute plane ticket or like $150 Greyhound. And I mean, I'm not saying that if I had more money, I would buy the expensive plane ticket. I'm just saying like, I'm doing everything that I can to cut corners. I do all the editing, design, everything myself, and that's part of the secret sauce. And in order to cover 50 different things a year, how is that possible with one person, without selling out to a big company and asking them for well, I need 1,000 or 500 a month, and then now you run towards
And then you guys, yeah,
you
then
see
you
what I
guys
mean?
all
Like,
have
that
to
doesn't work
pay
for
much
anybody.
more.
Yeah, see, and then I'm subject to their loyalties, their politics. Like, I'm not trying to be like to act like any of my sponsors would be like that. I work with companies that I've known for years, and these are my friends, man. Like me and Amir, I got such a blast kicking it with him. He's out in Eugene now. The Lampwork Supply moved to Eugene, so when I was there at the Star Shipment, we hung out a couple nights. Just these are great people. I don't mean it like that. I just mean to say, when you consider these paths, how would you fund something like this independently? And the math is it's all public, it's all right there. So there's no illusions about like how much money's coming in, and like it's just barely enough to cover the plane tickets and hotels and stuff. So I don't know. I feel like we're talking way too much. I do this show because I love sharing stuff with all of you, whether you have a dime or not. Like, I do it for this party, for the positivity that this community has brought to my life, for all those things. And I love fucking filming glass, man. I love doing
We
this.
all appreciate you too. This is the Tuesday night party. We love it.
Yeah, that's all I need, and But anyways, okay.
So yeah, Davis, Alex, I don't know if he's still around. He was the only 53 that I saw, so he may or may not get in touch with you, and he should
Okay.
hit you up on
Excellent. Can you take a note of that, Carrie?
the Facebook or the Instagram or your Mike Mason at Gmail.
All right. You got a note of
All
that,
right.
Carrie? Can you take a
I
note,
noted
please?
it.
All right, excellent. Okay, next one up. Let's mix. Let's give somebody a real proper theme. We got the eye postcard with the cool ass glass eyes from the Corning Library. And this is from their show, Curious and Curiouser: Surprising Finds from the Rakow Library. And I've actually shared some funny things from this, like the glass romance novels and like the store money. Like there were glass companies that paid their employees with their money, So you couldn't. Yeah.
Company Town, yeah.
Totally. Yeah, totally. And shout outs to my dog Aaron, man. Broken Glass Design. Hooked it up with a shirt. Shit's nice. Fucking my man.
Oh yeah, he was here in chat. I don't know if he's still around. I think he had to take off. Yeah.
Maybe he had to go to bed. He's a man with a wife and stuff. I remember. But I'm looking forward to hanging out with him on the lineup at AMFO. Fuck yeah. Okay, so we got this bad boy. We got this bad boy. We got your choice of OG slutty or whatever liberated things. And then I've got that Dragon Eye Millie on there for you. So that's this one. We have really drug out this giveaway. I'm sorry, folks. We don't normally drag it out this way, but questions had to be answered. Okay, here we go. Clickety clickety clack. 85. Do we have an 85 or anybody close to 85?
Oh, close to? I don't know. I was doing exact.
We'll just find the closest number.
Oh, really?
Yup.
That's work.
It is work.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Nino asked, where's Will and Richard? Richard, he joins in occasionally. I haven't seen him in a bit.
I see an 83.
Oh, good.
I see
Drew
an
Peets is
88.
88. Eddie Neal
Drew
has
P says
81.
88, but 83 is closer, so I got to go with that 83.
Wait, Hanoun says there's an 85, but I'm not seeing it in my
I see Hinnon got the 83.
Yeah.
They're saying there's an 85. I'm not searching it.
I don't know. He said there was an 85. I just did the find function.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Oh wait, I do have it. No. The only 85 is you saying there was an 85, Hinnon. So somebody changed it. Hinnon, you're the man. I'm calling it. That's you, baby. Hit me with the shipping address, mikemason@gmail.com. Mike Mason on Instagram. Might take you a month to get to me, but Facebook, whatever it'll be. Yep. All right. So, dude, you got a lot of cool stuff here. That's a really good. I'll tell you, I really like that eye pin. That eye pin is fucking cool as shit. It's okay, brother. You won either way. Don't feel bad about the 85 thing. Just 86 that notion, and we're gonna move on. All right. So, okay. We've got more prizes. It's been a minute. I'm feeling generous. I love that all you guys are here kicking it with me still. This party is a big part of my life. And yo, this one is a magnet, not a pin. This is a bad boy. Go right on your fridge, and reminds you of how cool the Corning Museum of Glass Library is, and how cool the Blacksha freaking thing, right, in it.
Yeah, the Blacksha.
Rudolf Blacksha made sometime between 1893 and 1890. And, we got your choice of OG Atlantic City postcard. And, is this the main prize? This is the main fucking prize. You've got fucking dice from the Vegas. This is the Vegas Players Pack. We got fucking cards. Although I got a pack of cards for everybody, I think. Yeah, cards for all. But this pack comes with the fucking special Glass Vegas. Yeah, that's your lucky token, baby, right there now. You won it. Don't lose it. All right, here we go. Clickety, clack. All right, what's up? 39.
39.
Do we have a 39?
There's a 39. Mark Mayor.
What?
Congratulations, Mark.
Mark, fuck
I
yeah,
only
dog.
got one showing up in my find window, so I'm assuming
one
that
as well. Yeah, Mark,
correct.
That's you, dog. Shoot me a message on Facebook or mikemason@gmail.com. Just don't do Instagram.
You'll see it in 3 months.
Who knows what'll happen on Instagram? I'm not good at that. Yeah, so. Well, great. Let's see. Guys, I wanted to talk to you about Torch Pass. No, I'm just kidding. It's
gonna be like the all-night fundraising drives or whatever. We're gonna be up till 5 a.m. on the phone lines. Call in now with your pledge for the highest pledge winner we've got. What do we have?
Yeah, right. I tell you, there really is some great stuff on there. I'm not even certain that I can resist a little preview here. I want to show you guys I got to show y'all just like 30 seconds of the Shayla footage if you're still with us. We're going to do it. Why not? Yeah, here we go. All right, let's just let me find some of these shots here.
Yeah, Mike's been filming on Shayla for a couple events now, and he got right up over her shoulder. Got the money shot.
Yeah.
That bird's eye view, the driver's seat view.
Yeah. All right, watch. Okay, this is where she's filling it in. I actually wanted to go a little further back. What are we, 720?
I don't know if you mean to or not, but we're still looking at you.
Of course I meant to.
Of course.
Just give this a watch for a second, homies. This is the drawing.
So this just released today or yesterday?
Yesterday.
On Torch Pass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this footage.
Awesome, Joshua.
I'm really stoked on this footage. I think this just really, really demonstrates what she does so incredibly. And yeah, this is on Torch Pass now. She made this amazing pipe, like a two-piece Sherlock with the surface drawn stuff, and take you to the end maybe. Really nice pipe. Really cool surface drawn decorations. Didn't even require a flip. I was like, I'll just be moving this. I'm like, all right, it's Mike Mason, I guess. Anyways,
Cool.
really, really cool pipe. Freaking awesome decorative technique. So that's, like I said, on the thing. But I love this footage. It's, she's cool enough to, trust me when I was like, yeah, I'm going to sneak behind you and, verify all the right spots and all that. I don't like to do that. It's, a touchy thing, especially she's in the
Especially
middle
in a
of
competition, yeah.
exactly, yeah, she's in the middle of competing, so, don't want to rock the boat like that, But anyways, okay. Enough glass for one night. Homies, thanks so much for joining us. Man, I hear there was a party in the chat. So I hope you guys had a good time. I'm glad to be back with y'all talking glass. We're gonna keep doing this. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. I hope y'all have a great week. Like I mentioned, next week we're going to run the Tim Kaiser Electro forming demo. Don't sleep on that. It's going to run like as a premiere. It's narrated, so you guys can have a chat party over there. But man, the information dropped in that demo is just 10 out of 10 level. There may never be a better resource for Boro electroforming until like the entire methodology changes. Like, this dude tells you what to buy, what chemicals to buy, how to do like intricate patterning work, exactly how to run the equipment. And this advice is not exactly what you're going to find in the manual for doing traditional type of things. He's got a very specific way of running it. Like, I don't even want to get into it. Just tune in next week, or if you sign up for Torch Pass, you can enjoy it right now, along with a ton of other stuff. But the Torch Pass promise is that everybody gets to enjoy all that shit in time. So, whatever. Anyways, thanks again for tuning in. Want to thank my amazing co-host Carrie.
Out here just chilling, relaxing.
Yeah. Carrie, did you want to say goodnight?
Thanks everyone for joining in. Seriously, Mike does a lot of work to get the stuff edited. He's just locked away in his room editing for days.
Aww.
So to get a bunch of the Torch Pass stuff out and then to get this ready. So thanks for your support. We appreciate it.
It is true. Well, thanks for being here, Carrie. I appreciate you and some of the stuff on there you filmed, and yeah, it's just great to all be here together. Thanks, everybody. Hope you all have a great rest of your night, great rest of your week, and I think I'll probably maybe be back the week after that before we go off to Champs. But if not, I'll be at you guys soon. Much love and take care until then.